Tonight on Elon Local News, a change in what you pay for Elon has some students worried.
Residents of a dorm on campus had an unwanted surprise in their dorms this week. We'll bring you more later in the show.
And one student vows to use her traumatic experiences to help others in a similar position.
You're watching Elon Local News.
Thanks for joining us this President's Day, February 18th. I'm Jason Puckett.
And I'm Jasmine Turner.
Tonight, new information about the robberies around campus. Arrests have been made in connection with the gunpoint robbery on campus earlier this month. James Longbooker, Corey Wilson, and an unnamed juvenile were arrested for a robbery and dangerous weapon charge. This mugshot of Longbooker is from another arrest last April for failing to appear in court. We'll stick with this story, so check our website, elonlocalnews.com, for the newest information.
Elon student William Lounsbury was arrested yesterday after police say he assaulted an officer. According to the incident report, 2 Elon University police officers saw Lounsbury by the intramural fields around 4 yesterday morning. Officers say they noticed something in Lounsbury's pockets and asked him to empty them. The report also says that as Lounsbury handed over a baggie with white residue, he lowered his head and struck the officer in the chest with his elbow in an attempt to escape. The 2 officers struggled with Lounsbury before securing him to the ground and cuffing him. Lounsbury was charged with the assault of a government official, resisting arrest, and possession of a small amount of cocaine. Stick with Elon Local News for more as this story develops.
And a change to Elon's tuition. Our Brian Mazurski has more.
To date, I have about $102,000 of loans.
She's a junior. Arnisha Fogg was told by her parents that she'd have to pay for college herself, and she didn't qualify for financial aid.
I practically have a mortgage in my name, but at the same time, I really feel like my experience here is worth it, whatever, regardless of the amount of money.
In a letter released Thursday by President Lambert, undergraduate tuition will increase 3.9%. The new cost just shy of $30,000. With an almost $500 increase in room, board, and fees, the total cost for on-campus students next year surpasses $40,000.
Some of it is just to keep up with the cost of inflation, and some of it is investments in quality, and some of it is really investment back in the student in the form of financial aid increases.
Lambert says the budget funds 13 new full-time faculty positions, increases financial aid availability, upgrades the health center resources, and continues investment in campus buildings and facilities. The increase of almost $1,500 will put tuition past $40,000 for the first time. And for students like Arnisha Fogg, the small amount starts to build up.
It may just seem like $1,500, but it's a whole lot more than that.
She says she's overcome obstacles before, and she will tackle more than $138,000 in student loans after graduation.
The more I think about it, the more I'll stress out. And so as long as I know they'll be there and I know that I will make my payments accordingly, I just try not to really think about it.
I took a look at 5 other private schools in the area, and out of them, Elon is actually the most affordable school to attend despite the increase. As you can see, Wake Forest has the highest tuition for the 2012-2013 school year, followed by Duke, Davidson, and High Point. And Elon rounds out the bottom of the list as most affordable.
Thanks, Brian. And President Obama unveiled a new plan for helping students get more bang for their buck while in college. The White House released a college scorecard website after the State of the Union address last week. The site allows users to view the cost and value of attending a particular college. Also included on the website are student loan repayment, loan default, and graduation rates from each institution. The link to the site can be found on our Twitter at Elon Local News. The first incoming class to pay the higher tuition has a new name. Beginning this summer, Elon freshmen will be referred to as first-year students. The admissions office feels the term freshman is limiting and does not include the increasing number of transfer and international students at Elon. ELN spoke to Vice President of Admissions Greg Zeiser about why the change was made.
The reason to change is to be more reflective of inclusivity and being aware that certain words don't resonate with people, and we want to make sure that we're more inclusive. And I think first-year students
This week, I spoke with students whose on-campus living situations are a little uncomfortable. Rearranged rooms, covered furniture, the smell of bleach. Some campus residents are dealing with it. The cause? A week ago, most rooms in Virginia were invaded by mold. Now, after a cleaning by physical plant, the issue is finally being addressed. For first-year student Emily Latham, the mold was more than just an inconvenience. It was a health concern.
I have a very severe bleach allergy, so when I walked in the door, I could feel my throat begin to tickle, and I could feel my back starting to break out in hives, and so I just grabbed my suitcase, threw some clothes in, and just hurried out of there as quickly as I could.
Physical Plant continues to clean up the mold in Virginia, and even though Latham is glad the issue was addressed, she's disappointed that her allergy was not.
I was speaking to someone from Physical Plant, and he said that he would not bleach anything in my room without notifying me first. And when he and I were speaking, he actually said my room was not set to be bleached.
Unfortunately, Latham's room was still bleached, and she's since moved out of Virginia. Jasmine Turner, Elon Local News. The disease that robs you of your memory is on the rise. The number of Alzheimer's cases is predicted to nearly triple by 2050, when U.S. college students will be in our 60s. Right now, the disease affects roughly 5 million Americans. The increase in cases is mainly due to the large amount of baby boomers growing older. Dr. Amy Overman, a psychology professor here at Elon, says college students have an advantage in combating Alzheimer's.
You go to college, someone else doesn't. You both have the exact same pathology brain-wise, so problems with your brain. But the symptoms don't show up for you as early as they do for the person who didn't go to college, because they don't have that buffer to kind of make up for or compensate for this decline in memory and cognition.
Starting Tuesday, you can cast your vote online for student government positions. Thursday night, students running for SGA gave speeches on what you could expect from them if elected to office. Rising seniors Patrick Brown and Wellsford's Scott Bishoprick are competing for the spot of SGA Executive President, a position currently held by Darian Flowers. As for Executive Vice President, current sophomore class President Joe Incorvia and junior Ryan Budden are in the running. You can find highlights from all the speeches on our website, elonlocalnews.com.
Just like the President's State of the Union address, Governor Pat McCrory will give a State of the State speech about his plans for the next 2 years. Our Joe Bruno is in Raleigh at the event. Joe?
Good evening, Jason and Jasmine. It took 8 years, but in less than an hour, Governor McCrory will finally have a chance to deliver the State of the State address. I looked into what we can expect from the governor tonight. After an easy victory for Governor McCrory, tonight he will finally have the chance to lay out his plans for North Carolina. But what can we expect from the former Charlotte mayor's first address to the state?
We're going to see a continuation of the campaign promises that we've heard already. We're also going to see additional emphasis on some of the agenda items that they think, well, we need to make sure that the public hears enough about this before we make rapid changes.
But with the Republican-controlled legislature, McCrory faces little issues in passing what he wants to accomplish.
A lot of what you hear will be talking within the party, within the Republican Party, saying, here's some agenda items, let's make sure we pass these.
So what could we possibly see from the McCrory administration? For starters, McCrory will look to pass a voter ID law. This would require voters to show photo identification before voting. The governor also said that the Medicaid system is broken, and therefore he won't support expanding it.
He's going to make sure that he has certain key initiatives that get passed that leave a long-standing legacy in the state. These aren't easy to do. They're not easy to come up with these ideas, and they're not easy to figure out policy problems that have solutions that can be solved just by the stroke of a pen.
3 things to look out for tonight are 1, a call for more job creation. Governor McCrory signed his first bill today that increases opportunities for high schoolers in technical education programs. The second thing to watch for is whether or not the governor will address tax reform. While campaigning, the governor said he would like the corporate and individual income rates to fall. And lastly, look for McCrory to address his budget. While his budget isn't due until mid-March, past governors have used a State of the State to highlight provisions in their 2-year budgets.
And like the State of the Union, the Democrats will have a chance to make an official response. That response will be made by Larry Hall. He's a member of the North Carolina House of Representatives, and he's from Durham. Now, I'll be at the State of the State tonight. You can follow me on Twitter for live updates. For now, reporting live in downtown Raleigh, Joe Bruno, Elon Local News.
The head of North Carolina's Democratic Party called for the state legislature to consider a bill that makes North Carolina the first southern state to allow the use of marijuana with a doctor's prescription. A survey from Public Policy Polling found that 58% of North Carolinians support legalizing the use of medicinal marijuana.
He's a student, an LGBT activist, has 2 moms, and he's coming to Elon. Zach Walls addressed his state about an amendment to ban gay marriage back in 2011. The YouTube video of his speech went viral with roughly 17 million views. He has spoken at venues like the Democratic National Convention and will be at Elon Friday as part of Intersex Diversity and Leadership Conference.
Been very active on campus and has been doing a lot of programming, so we thought it would be a nice compromise to sort of honor their efforts by bringing in somebody who's an advocate for the LGBTQIA community.
It's been chilly today, but what about the rest of the week?
Our Naima Abdullahi shakes things up this week, choosing in a different kind of way.
While one team approaches the end of a successful season, another team kicks theirs off. We'll have more in sports. Head over to our Brennan McGovern for the latest in weather. Brennan?
Thank you, Jasmine. It was quite cold over the weekend, and Elon got a coating of snow on Saturday. But today, the snow is gone, however, and the sun was shining, and the high got up to 52 degrees. But as we take a look at the 5-day forecast, don't break out the shorts and tank tops just yet. It's going to stay about the same for the rest of the week, with highs around 50 and in the mid-40s, and lows as chilly as 21 degrees. So make sure you're bundled up on your way to your 8 a.m. Keep an umbrella close, though, because there's a 70% chance of rain tomorrow and a 60% chance on Friday. Looking ahead to the weekend forecast, good news. We're expecting sunny weather and highs in the 60s. A great chance to get outdoors. That's all for the weather. I'm Brennan McGovern. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Brendan. The conflict in Syria may seem far away, but for one Elon professor, war is hitting much closer to home. Our John Bowden has more. Okay. We apologize for the technical difficulties with that story. It will be on the web at elonlocalnews.com later this evening.
Another member of the Elon community is no stranger to adversity. Reporter Naima Abdullahi went to find a student at random and tell their story.
19 academic buildings, 5,200 students, and everyone has a story to tell.
This is a map of Elon. Wherever this dart lands on that map is where we'll find an interesting person. Okay, let's head over to West Hall.
Here is where we met Daytoya Jenkins, a first-year student who was willing to talk to us. This is her story.
I want to open an abused women's shelter.
This stems from her own personal experience.
I want to sort of create a safe haven for them because my mom didn't have one.
Jenkins goes on to explain.
You know, my father was an awesome man. He was a great father. But my father was also an abusive man.
When you're seeing that kind of experience as a young child, how do you interpret what is going on?
You don't. You can't. I never once, as a child, as it was happening, I never once asked why.
She's been able to gain strength and support from the things that she loves the most.
Of course, my mom.
How many people have you shared your story with?
Before today, one.
And that's the story of a stranger we met outside of West Hall with a wide smile and her head held high. Naima Abdullahi, Elon Local News.
What a great idea, Naima. Thanks for that. Now, he's a staple around the School of Communications, and now he's leaving. Ross Wade, the Assistant Director of Career Services for the Communications School, has taken a job at Duke University. Wade has been with Elon since 2008. His last official day is March 1st. And as he leaves Elon, Wade hopes that he's calmed some fears about the daunting job search.
What would be ideal is that when I leave, the students in the School of Comm, and maybe students outside of the School of Comm, understand that the job search is not a scary experience, and that it's based on relationships and it's based on learning and helping other people.
Performance has people talking.
And find out which Elon sports team is receiving some national recognition. Welcome back. The Roaring '20s made its way into the 21st century with musical The Wild Party bringing tough topics to Elon's campus.
Violence, sex, nudity, and substance abuse were in the spotlight in McCrary Theater this weekend. But the Wild Party director Lynn Formato says the scandalous show deals with issues in everyday life.
It's life, but in this case, it's life. I mean, these people do push the boundaries. And so you're putting a mirror up to the lives of these particular people and the choices they have made.
Some characters' choices lead to destruction and even death. And an odd couple, two brothers who are in a relationship with each other.
Ironically, their relationship is one of the most healthy and loving in the show.
But beyond the risque scenes, cast members say that lessons can be learned from the musical.
It's not too late to walk out the door and find a new life. You do not have to be locked into a life of abuse or bad choices, if you will. And so is that inappropriate or controversial? I would say it's probably something we all should think about at some point in our life.
As Queenie and Kate say in the show, the Wild Party has no limits, no boundaries, no compromise. Janae Frazier, Elon Local News.
A wild, wild party and loving the beer would last. I'm helping out.
The crowd waited in anticipation as the spring concert performers were revealed during the men's basketball game. Electronic mashup artist Blau and hip-hop star Big Sean will be performing as part of the annual event on April 19th. We talked to a few students after the game and reactions were mixed. Tickets will be available online at a Mosley Center this week.
Some great stuff. I'm excited for it. Big Sean's the man.
I don't know who he is.
Awesome. He's the man.
It's to keep the presidents in your wallet. Julie, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, guys. Instead of texting in class, let's use our smartphones to save some cash. I have 4 apps to help you keep money in your pocket. Let's start with a money managing app. An app called Mint will do just that. To start, you log into your accounts, like your savings and your credit cards, via the app, but it might not sound safe to you. As long as you log out before putting your phone down, then you'll be good to go. On Mint, set some boundaries like, I can only spend $100 a month on groceries. Mint will alert you when you've gone over your budget. And when that dreaded credit card bill is due, a message will pop up on your smartphone. Speaking of groceries, Red Laser is an app to make sure you're getting the best bang for your buck. It's simple. Your phone acts as a barcode scanner. When you find the product you want, scan the barcode and Red Laser will do the rest. It'll tell you where you can find that product and the cheapest, either at a store near you or online. Next, gas. Prices for gas may seem high right now, but Gas Buddy will find the cheapest place for you to fill up. It uses a GPS on your phone to find that cheap station near you. And finally, I love free stuff. Well, I do love free stuff, but I'm talking about an app called I Love Free Stuff. I know, confusing. That app will help you find that stuff. This app simply puts free samples and giveaways on one screen. Do you use any apps that help you save money? Tweet them at me at _Julie Morse. Looking out for the college consumer, I'm Julie Morse.
Today, USA Today listed Elon as one of the breakthrough basketball teams of this season and say they have a legitimate shot of making the NCAA tournament this year. I'll have more sports news when we come back. Welcome back to Elon Local News. I'm Justin Beagle here with your sports update. Earlier this afternoon, the 2013 football schedule was released, and here are the opponents for this year. The team will start the season on the road against ACC's Georgia Tech on August 31st. The next weekend, the Phoenix will have their home opener against West Virginia Wesleyan on September 7th. Make sure to mark your calendars for the App State game, also the Hall of Fame game, on September 21st. The following weekend is Parents Weekend against Coastal Carolina. On October 19th, the Phoenix take on Chattanooga, which will be the Live Pink game, so make sure you wear your breast cancer awareness stuff. And a big game after the bye weekend is Homecoming Weekend against the Citadel on November 9th. Followed by a home game against Georgia Southern on November 16th, followed by the end of the season on the road. On Valentine's Day, the men's basketball team welcomed arch rival App State to Alumni Gym. At the end of the night, one team would walk away brokenhearted. Let's take a look. Hundreds of fans showed up to show their love for the Phoenix. We picked things off early in the first half. Here, Jack Eisenberger dishes the ball to Sebastian Koch, who drains a three-point shot. Koch would come up big in the final seconds of the game, as you'll see in a moment. Next, Riley Beaumont gets a putback layup off a Kevin Blake missed shot. And check out this nifty move by Eisenberger, who beats the defender for the layup before halftime. But App State would fight back in the second half and take the lead with less than 2 minutes of play. However, Elon would respond with this tough shot by Beaumont to bring the Phoenix to within 3. And with 22 seconds left to go and only down by 1, Sebastian Koch would drive down the lane, draw the foul, and make the 2 clutch free throws to seal the deal at Alumni Gym. Your final score, Elon 61, App State 58. After the game, Coach Anthony talked about what he admires in his team.
In the last 2 games, we've really handled adversity very well. And they don't look at the scoreboard. That's what I like about our guys. Our guys don't look up until the very end, until time and score is a factor. And it'd be easy to get discouraged down 8 with 5.5, 6 minutes to go. They just played.
During the post-game press conference, Sebastian Koch told the media that good teams always prepare and that his team cannot take the day off before hosting Western Carolina on Saturday night. And he was right. Before the game, fans cheered as Lucas Troutman was recognized for breaking the 1,000 career point mark, becoming the 35th player in team history to do so. After missing Thursday's game with an ankle injury, the big man looked good early, here with a strong drive-in layup. Fellow teammate Tanner Sampson, who was also inactive Thursday due to an illness, looked sharp as well, draining this 3-point shot midway through the first half. Later on, Troutman again showing off his range, nailing this short jumper. Elon will go into halftime with only a 1-point lead. The second half was a lot more physical, both teams committing multiple fouls and sending players to the line. Down with only 24 seconds to go, Jack Eisenberger sinks the tying free throw to tie the game. With 1 second left to go, Western Carolina looks to make the winning shot, but it comes just short, and we head to overtime, where this score by Riley Beaumont and strong defensive play by the Phoenix helped close the deal at Alumni Gym. Your final score, Elon 80, Western Carolina 73. After the game, Riley Beaumont explained how his team has been able to come away in such close games.
From preparation to the last seconds of regulation, just getting it done, and it's because we're getting older and we're becoming a veteran team. We're understanding more like what has to be done, and we're putting it out there.
Meanwhile, it was opening weekend for the baseball team, and the warm weather drew crowds to Latham Park to watch the team take on Marist Friday afternoon. Marist would score the first 2 runs in the first inning thanks to an RBI single by Nick McQuail and a throwing error by shortstop Antonio Alvarez. But Elon would respond with 8 runs in the bottom of the first. Nick Swim kicked things off with his RBI single. That will be his only hit of the afternoon. Later on, Joey Tomko hits an RBI double, scoring yet another run for the Phoenix. Pitcher Dylan Clark went 6 innings and only allowed 4 hits and 2 runs on the day. Here he strikes out Mike Orfis to end the inning. In the 9th, Ryan Piniella came in to close out the win for the Phoenix. Your final score from Latham Park, Elon 11, Marist 3. A great season opening win for the Phoenix. After a close loss to Boston College in the snow on Saturday, the team looked to bounce back and get a win against VCU on Sunday. Starting pitcher David Whitehead looked to shut down the opponent early, and he did just that, striking out not 1, not 3, but 5 of the first 7 batters that he faced. However, went all downhill from there for the Phoenix. In the 4th inning, VCU's Taylor Braun hit a 2-2 pitch deep into left center field and over the left side wall for a 3-run homer. Elon struggled to hit the ball in this one and fell to the Rams by a final score of 2-6.
Local news. Make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And check us out online at elonlocalnews.com. Have a great week, Elon.